Crews have started an 800 square foot patio, but homeowners Michael and Paula worry that the built-in garden beds that have been proposed will be a waste of valuable space.
Not so happy today, huh?
No. We thought we'd get another 3 or 4 feet of patio, and this is significantly shorter. Measured it out, John's right, it goes all the way to the end of the pipe. It goes where it needs to be legally, but the problem is, if we put all these plantings in there, it's gonna leave very little space.
The patio sits as close to the setback as local codes allow. It cannot get any bigger, so crews forge ahead with its construction, gearing up for the retaining wall that'll hold up the patio. It's a beehive of activity as modular blocks are wheeled in a few at a time and building begins. Those heavy wheelbarrow loads through the soggy side yard are already taking a toll, but landscape designer John Madison has a plan to fix it.
Well, you guys have been using this as access, so you're going to patch this up on your way out. But the French drain's got to go in first.
The French drain has to go in. It's going to eliminate a lot of their water problems because this has been a continual problem since they purchased the home.
Well, it looks like neither of these houses have gutters, too, so I bet on a heavy rain this water just comes right up and just stays right here.
It just floods out this area. We're going to dig out the trench approximately 6 to 8 inches deep, good, five inches wide, and then what we'll do is we'll line it with an erosion control liner. We'll put our gravel, an inch of gravel on the bottom, 57 rock, put the 4-inch perforated pipe with the sock on it.
So the perforated pipe has holes in it and then a sock, so the water can come through the pipe, and the sock on the pipe itself stops any sediment from getting there to clog it up.
Exactly. And then we basically cover the pipe up with gravel, fill it up to the almost grade, approximately 2 inches from the top of the grade, wrap it, and then we resod over it. So now we newer here.
That will come at the end of the project. For now, John has more serious problems. Unhappy homeowners who thought they'd have more patio space.
We have to leave 10 feet from the property line for utility easement. What we did is we're adding a Tennessee stack stone retaining walls on the exterior of the retaining wall blocks, so if they ever need to come through there, they can tear that wall down. It won't affect the stability of the patio.
So the block wall stays, and a series of shorter fieldstone walls will be added to the outside to hold plantings. That frees up the entire patio for entertaining. When Michael comes home again, he's in much better spirits about it all.
Got a new design today, so I gotta make sure everything's gonna look okay. Much happier than I was yesterday, much happier. Unfortunately, a casualty of it was gonna be the water feature. Wasn't quite in the budget where we could do both. If we can bring it back, we're gonna try, but I don't know if we're gonna make it so far.
2 days later, Michael is marveling at how the new stone wall is built.
This is not a paint by number kit. I mean, these guys have to walk the length of the wall. They gotta figure out where it's gonna fit. If it doesn't fit, they gotta break it. Kind of like over here. Now, if I pull one of those on the bottom, is that whole wall gonna fall out? Wow, that's really good.
As solid as the wall is, it's still considered a non-permanent structure because it's not mortared together. The guys are using exterior-grade construction adhesive to glue the rocks together. If local utility crews ever need to do service work, the wall can be broken apart with machinery, then rebuilt and replanted afterward. For advice on building retaining walls, check out my video on that and others like it at hgtv.com/groundbreakers.
When doing a landscape project, whether big or small, planting a tree, building a fence, or doing a large landscape renovation, you want to check local codes for setbacks and easements. You also want to find out exactly where your utilities are, so you want to do a locate or a call before you dig. It's free, and in some states, it's the law. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but in the long run, it's going to save you from a big headache.
When we come back, Paula's 800 square foot leap of faith.
This was my color pick, and you know what was really scary about it is I never saw it in person. I picked it out of a catalog.
And later, keeping landscape maintenance to a minimum with maximum results.
You really want to be very cautious of what you prune and how you prune it.
A lot has changed in this backyard in just a week. Michael and Paula's backyard used to be an unusable slope with no room for entertaining and nothing to draw you outside. Now the yard's been built up and leveled off for a paver patio and elevated sun deck. Today, landscape designer John Madison leads his crew in the installation of the cedar pergola.
Looks good.
Also, what we're going to do is you're going to have your these 2x6s on top will be your trim pieces. We're going to put these copper caps.
Oh,
top of
really?
the 6x6s. So then you have copper and you have a copper lights, so everything ties in.
Nice.
But some important details still need to be ironed out, like getting the rafter spacing just right.
Well, what we have to have is we can't have a center beam because we're going to be hanging a fan here in the center. So what we have to do is we have to build basically a fan box for the fan to be mounted on so it's stable. Because if you just mount it on one 2x6, it's going to be too wobbly. So we want to mount it in the center and put a brace in the middle.
The fan will make it more enjoyable in the summertime for Michael and Paula to do some entertaining, something they apparently take pretty seriously.
Kind of the end of the week became another, and we're going through and we're doing a dry run on future parties. There's my beautiful wife.
Practicing.
Yes. So, honey, you like everything so far?
Nice to work. It's actually furniture and papers now, but you gotta practice and make sure that it's got, the right feel and everything.
Right on cue, the pavers are delivered the next morning. Out back, the crew spreads out a base layer of crushed granite for the pavers to sit in. John positions some light fixtures that will be recessed in the paver floor to uplight the pergola columns. Then the granite dust is compacted, pavers are hauled in, and work begins. Thanks to good prep work, the pavers go down in record time. To learn more about these kinds of projects, including things you can tackle yourself, visit hgtv.com/groundbreakers. Paula, your pavers are in. What do you think?
I absolutely love them. They've actually exceeded my expectation.
Was this your color pick?
This was my color pick, and what was really scary about it is I never saw it in person. I picked it out of a catalog or like a little brochure, so I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but we kept our fingers crossed. And
It was a
worked
good
out.
decision because they look great.
Another tough decision for Michael and Paula has been the water feature. First, it was a maybe, then it was out, now it's back in. And today, it's finally happening, using the large pot that was bought before work began.
The bubbling pot features are so easy, so low maintenance. You still get the water effect, you get the sound, you get the visibility of a beautiful feature. You get all the things that you get out of a waterfall, just much, much lower maintenance.
Just going to make one really sweet water feature.
Nice, nice.
The water feature's just about done. We need to give it a test run and make sure it works. Chad, hit it. Yes, 100% fully operational water feature. Simple and elegant. The guys also added some beach pebbles as another nice little touch. There's also lights in it as well as outside of it, so it's going to be a focal point in the evening as well as in the day.
With the hardscape down, it's time for the softscape. In other words, plants.
You always want to put out your plants first before you even plant anything. Make sure they're exactly where they need to be.
Example, the tree looks good here, but when you get to the other side of the yard, you might decide it needs to go over this way a foot, to the right a little, to the left a little, and it's a good opportunity to tweak it.
Yep.
John, a lot of the stuff that you installed in this landscape is low maintenance, but it's still going to require some selective pruning.
It does, yeah. Controlled pruning is what we like to call it, or selective pruning. You really want to be very cautious of what you prune and how you prune it. The direction in which you prune it is the direction in which you're going to force your new buds to reproduce.
Right.
So if, like you can see here, this one is coming at an angle. So in order to get our reproduction to go straight up, we cut at a 45. So now the new 2 to 3 new shoots are going to come off straight up.
Pruning can almost be an art form.
It is an art form. There's a lot more ways to do it wrong than to do it right.
Definitely, definitely. Because if you do it wrong, your plants are going to look like they have a bad haircut.
Exactly, and we don't want that.
When we come back, this little backyard is ready for its big debut. See how a popular pool building trend inspired it all.
Like a lot of people use the infinity pools where the water keeps going over the edge. We can essentially kind of use that same effect.
And the unlikely spot that one homeowner calls the landscape's best feature.